I just want to quickly thank everyone for coming out. Again, we were very happy to be home for homecoming, and I know it's a busy weekend for everyone. And special shout out again to Panther Mayhem, our pep crew, who had a very busy weekend but still made it to both of our matches. So thank you for coming out. We had a tough weekend in terms of we brought number 1 and number 2 to town on Friday night. Missouri State, second picked in the conference, had a tough 5-game battle, and again came up on the losing side of that, unfortunately. The biggest thing about that match on Friday in my mind is that we came out a little bit sluggish to begin with. I felt like our execution on the defensive side wasn't where it has been. Lily is a great player, but I think we did some things, or we could have done some things to slow her down a little bit more. She's not a kid we're going to contain for sure, but would have liked to seen a little bit better execution on the defensive side. And then offensively, I felt like because of how our defense was playing, it forced us into doing some things that we're not we don't normally do. We weren't exposing their weaknesses, which we normally do a very good job of. So it kind of snowballed into a lot of different things. I think the biggest thing that we can take from it, though, it was a match that I felt like we never really felt into it, but we were able to, after being down 0-2, come back and put it into the 5th game. So coming back and winning those next 2 sets with it still not feeling great, but finding ways to score points and get the job done. And then when you get in that 5th set, I just think it's a toss-up. We were able to hang in there, but could not finish it and lost in 2. Statistically, except for, in my mind, the one stat that matters, the win-loss column, or the one stat that you're shooting for, actually, we won every other stat category, even the amount of points scored, but we have also been on the other side of that before, winning matches where we haven't won the other stats as well. But it did show that we did some things well. I think the biggest thing for us as coaches is just a little bit of concern going into Saturday, just because it has been a pretty tough month and a half in terms of the competition we've had, in terms of the travel that we've had. We have a 5-game match that took a lot from us emotionally and mentally and physically, and then you bring number 1 Wichita to town, who is very big and physical and has the capability of scoring points very easily because of their athleticism. And so as coaches, I think it was more, are we going to have enough in our tank in all of those areas? And I could not be prouder of our kids and the way that we came out, their ability to refocus, the execution on Saturday night of what we wanted for a game plan was right on, and their ability to change that. Wichita is notorious for switching things around very quickly, and I thought we then in turn switched things around very quickly and were able to execute, which was huge. I think physically, I would never have guessed that we just played a 5-game match the night before. I thought our kids looked fresh and ready to go. So very proud of them. I think it was one of our best matches of the year, to be honest. One of the biggest improvements in my mind was our ability to come back after a play that wasn't so good, meaning a mental error or some kind of hitting error, or maybe a miscommunication or a missed hit responsibility or a big play by Wichita State, but we were able to bounce back right away the next point and not let that snowball into multiple points. And it was huge for us. We've had that issue a little bit this year, but we're really good with that on Saturday night. So proud of that. I thought our front court was extremely aggressive, and again, Wichita is a very big physical team up there at the net, but I thought our kids did not back away from that, which in turn let our backcourt do what they're capable of doing. Our backcourt was all over the place on Saturday night, getting a lot of great touches. Kendall led the way, but Ashley Sinnott had her career high 21 digs, so a great match for her. Amy held a double-double again, so again, both offensively and defensively doing it for us. I thought Heather had one of her best matches of the season, really did a great job of distributing the offense. She connected well with both middles. They both hit over 400, which was huge. So just a great overall team effort, and very proud of our kids and their ability to bounce back after a really tough loss on Friday. I think the toughest challenge is now you turn around and you have kind of a tough match on Friday, a great match on Saturday, and now we have to play right away again tonight. And just being ready for this match, obviously physically we have not been able to practice against Indiana State. We did get in the gym yesterday, but no jumping whatsoever. Our kids need to be fresh for tonight. So all of the getting ready for Indiana State has been on video, has been game plan report, scouting report. So the physical part will definitely all come tonight. Indiana State is a tough team that I think the challenges they present is they have one of the best right sides in the conference. She runs a slide takeoff that's very quick. So you have their middle who's running a quick offense with that slide. And last year at their place, that gave us a lot of trouble, and it was something that we had a lot of difficulty stopping. So it's something that will be a big focus for us tonight. They're very scrappy defensively as well, a good serving team. So we know they're going to be prepared and ready to go. So I know it's a different Monday night match, but we hope to get a good crowd here to help us take on the Sycamores. And then at the end of the week, we travel to Drake to play an interstate/conference match. We have not done anything to look at Drake. We won't do that till obviously after tonight's match. But they took Missouri State to 5 on Friday or on Saturday night. So a very capable team. They've had a great non-conference season as well. And I look at Drake as a team that always plays really tough at home, and they always play really tough against us. So you put all those interstate things in there besides just it being a conference match. So we know on Saturday they're going to be ready to go down in Des Moines. So, but would love to have you on Monday or tonight and come out and support us. Any questions?
Given that you already had the Illinois State match, which would have been an early week match, and then you have tonight against Indiana State, how do you feel moving forward about getting the girls back on a regular schedule with more quote-unquote normal schedule ahead?
We're really looking forward to that, and I think one of the biggest things is to have the ability to give our kids a little bit more rest. They need it. We have some kids that are beat up with things that they definitely can play with and play through. But just to give them a little rest and to be able to have really solid practice time. It's been a long time since we've really been able to work on anything new or try anything different. Physically, I do think our kids have so much that they can pull from, and I think that's part of why we were able to bounce back on Saturday. We talk about the out-of-season training that they do and how hard they work and the preseason that we have. So I think that's helped with that. But I think they're looking forward to a little bit of normalcy coming up here in the next month.
How did this schedule get set up this way to where now you play a Monday game coming off a weekend?
Yeah, it's a really good idea on paper. As conference coaches, we're always trying to find a way to play non-conference opponents. Most conferences have 4 weeks at the beginning of the preseason for non-conference matches. So in order to try to find another way to get another week on the front end, our conference decided to take one of our conference weekends and you play those 2 matches on Monday nights. You can manipulate that as long as it's okay with both conference opponents. So we took our November match that we're supposed to play Illinois State on a Monday night. We were actually supposed to be away at Missouri State in Wichita and then come back on Monday and play Illinois State, which would have been really tough. So we took that match and put that into our tournament at the front end. So it's a great thing. I think there's some challenges, especially if you're the team that's traveling. Usually you don't travel if you're usually home and then travel, but the problem is some of the distances that you have to travel, and that's why they've agreed to do it for 4 years. So hopefully over that span of time, it's been equal for all teams. So it's challenging, but I love the non-conference opportunities. I think getting exposed to other conferences is huge for our programs in a conference, and I think our conference teams have done a really good job of going out and doing what they needed to do during those weeks.
Where was Indiana State at this weekend?
They had one match against Illinois State, and that was at Illinois State. All right, thank you. We'll see you tonight.